The city lights of Buenos Aires flickered like fireflies in the fog. Clara stepped off the plane, camera bag on her shoulder, heart pounding. She had come chasing stories, but what she found was silence. Every sound felt distant, every color too bright for her tired eyes. He appeared like an unfinished song, a boy with coffee skin, untamed curls, and eyes that carried laughter and loss in the same glance. Lost? He asked, his accent warm and careful. Clara smiled, though she didn't understand half his words. But sometimes hearts understand what language cannot. They walked along the narrow streets, her camera clicking, his voice painting stories of the city's forgotten corners. He showed her murals of lovers separated by oceans, of revolutions that began with a kiss, of dreams written in dust and rain. And in that chaos, she found calm. In him. That night, they climbed a rusted staircase to the roof of his old apartment. The sky stretched endlessly, filled with city noise and quiet stars. He handed her a cup of mate, the bitter taste surprising her. He laughed. "You'll learn to love it, like you'll learn to love this city." She didn't reply. She was already learning to love him. In a small street cafe, a band began to play. Without warning, he took her hand. "Dance with me," he whispered. She hesitated, then gave in. Their movements were clumsy, their laughter soft, and in that moment, they weren't strangers anymore. They were a rhythm. Days turned to weeks. But one morning, he found her sitting by the river, tears hidden behind her sunglasses. Her phone buzzed, an email from New York. Her project was over. Her flight tomorrow. He didn't speak. He just took her camera gently and said, "Then let me take your picture before you disappear." She stood against the dying light. Wind tangled her hair, the world around her blurred. The shutter clicked, once, softly. He looked at the image, and it hurt. Because he knew, even before she said a word, that this was goodbye. They walked the streets until dawn. No words, only glances. When they stopped at the bridge, he said, "I wish I had met you sooner." She smiled through tears. "Maybe we met exactly when we were supposed to." The first light of morning broke over the city, turning everything gold, except their hearts. At the airport, she held his hand until security pulled her away. "Don't forget me," he whispered. She shook her head. "I couldn't, even if I tried." Her plane rose into the clouds, and he stood watching, the photograph still in his hand. Her face framed by sunset and sorrow. Months later, her photo appeared in an exhibition in New York. The caption read, "The moment before goodbye." People called it beautiful, but he never saw it. In Buenos Aires, he kept the same picture, creased, faded, but alive. Some loves don't end. They just live, in the spaces between distance and memory. The rain returned that night. She sat by the window, the city blurred behind glass. In her trembling hands, a letter, his handwriting. He wrote about the ocean between their worlds, the family waiting for him back home, the life he couldn't abandon. Each word felt heavier than the last, falling like raindrops that refused to stop. Tears smeared the ink, turning the letter into a storm of its own. Emotion, heartbreak, quiet pain, distance starting. She found him near the old train tracks, camera slung across his shoulder. "Were you just going to leave?" she asked, her voice breaking. He looked away, unable to meet her eyes. "I thought it would hurt less if I didn't say goodbye," he whispered. She took a step closer, tears falling freely. "It doesn't," she said. "It just hurts differently." Emotion, confrontation, pain, love versus reality. She stood at the platform edge, suitcase in hand, eyes glimmering beneath the station lights. The train's whistle echoed through the fog, a sound that felt like an ending. He reached for her wrist, trembling, but said nothing. The silence between them was louder than the city itself. "Don't go," he whispered, voice cracking like the rails beneath them. She smiled through tears, the kind that hurt more than words. "If I stay, I'll forget who I am," she said. The train doors hissed open, glowing like another life calling her away. He stepped forward, took her face in his hands, and kissed her. Slow, desperate, final. The train horn roared, drowning their breath. When they pulled apart, both were shaking, knowing this was goodbye in its purest form. She boarded without looking back. He stood still as the doors closed, her reflection fading against the glass. The train began to move, and he watched until the last carriage vanished into fog, taking half his soul with it. Weeks later, he sat in a cafe by the ocean, reading her letter again. "If love was enough, I'd be beside you." The ink was smudged where her tears had fallen. Or maybe his. He framed one photograph, her laughing under city lights, and hung it on his wall. Every night, he stared at it, whispering, "You still make this place feel like home." Years passed. The same station, the same fog. He stood where she once had, older now, quieter. A new train arrived, spilling light onto the platform, and for a heartbeat, he thought he saw her stepping off. But it was just the rain. In another city, another life, she sometimes dreams of him. A station, a kiss, and the sound of rain. Their love never ended. It simply changed trains.